What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your best friends, Greg Miller, over here in his coat because he's so chilly. The producer slash seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Fifth grader, did you steal the sweatshirt from?
Nautico.
Wait a minute. Where did you go back to 1985? Did you go back to 1985 and beat up a young Nick Scarpino for this peachy folder sweatshirt that you're wearing?
I mean, you're welcome to try to make fun of me for it, but this is a Persona 4 golden shirt. Everyone's making fun of you. Nautico is a fifth grader, so it makes perfect sense. That's why I'm wearing it. Now you look like an April Fool, so take off your fucking coat, all right?
What a fool.
You know what I mean? What a moron, all right? Never even fucking picked up a Vita, I bet.
I don't think I have it. What was it? There was the Vita. What was the one that came before that?
PSP.
Yeah, I bet if you put a PSP and a Vita next to each other, I'd be like, I don't know which one was which.
I bet you could. You're smarter than that.
Well, the one says Vita. Hands down, probably.
Exactly.
One
says PSP. One says Vita. I bet you can figure it out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Over here, returning to the show, the Hispanic heartthrob, Andy Cortez.
I'm back, guys.
How you feeling? How you feeling, doggy dog?
I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
You look pale.
What did you have? Because you're still.
It's a great question. Great question.
Your eyes are bloodshot. You look high.
He's got no color in his face.
I
He's usually
legitimately
got that color.
Yesterday, my right eye was very, very red, and I think I popped like a blood vessel from coughing so hard.
I can tell.
Because I was coughing insanely hard, and I was very worried.
Well, he's got red in his eyes.
But not nearly. No. Okay, a little bit.
Dude, definitely.
There was a girl I went to high school with who puked so hard when she got drunk that she popped all the blood vessels in her eye, and her entire eye was red.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Exactly.
That's scary.
It's like when I had Destiny eye that one time. Yeah.
She's dead now.
It started off
what killed her.
It started off with a lot of like sinus congestion and sinus like problems, and then it's just become like chest stuff. But no more like fever anymore. Okay. It's just been a lot of coughing, waking up, having like gross shit.
Yeah, I hate that.
Really, really bad.
I'm right there with you.
Expectorating out of yourself.
You haven't seemed the same.
Huh?
You're
you're definitely
like a shell of your former self.
You are. You're different. You changed, man.
I know.
But maybe this could be your return on the Kind of Funny podcast.
I mean, I see you've been streaming, so you're not
taking
that
notes.
sick. You're
Yeah, it's
I mean, I was working on. Came into work on Friday, and
It's weird that you
yeah,
did.
but like we had to carry party mode. Like I mean, agreed, right? Like just objectively, we had to carry party mode.
I recorded 2 party mode. I mean, what the hell?
But is it really recording if you're like this?
No, I killed
what I
it.
mean?
I won several times.
Did you?
I don't remember.
Maybe
That's how the party
in that
mode's
blow
handled.
game, but I housed you motherfuckers in ultimate chicken
Did you?
horse.
Did you, Nick?
Well,
And rounding out the quartet, Forbes 30 under 30 winner, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the engaged one at Tim Gettys.
Let Tim host. I just had a realization, guys. That this is our last week before Endgame. So if we want to do some Endgame predictions and stuff, it might have to be this episode.
Okay, fine. Do
Just
it.
letting you know. I don't know. I don't know if you have any plans. Do you have any plans?
I have lots of plans.
Ooh, let's do
Not
those
really.
plans.
No, I really
For
don't have
what?
plans. I was going to talk about the sweatshirt, but we'll get to that first. But first, this
Oh God.
is the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week. Usually four best friends gather on this table, each bringing topics from their lives to talk to you about those topics and have a good time. If you enjoy having a good time and liking those things, why not support the show? Go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where a couple of bucks obviously keeps the mics on, the lights on here, but gets you early ad-free access to the video and MP3. If you don't have any bucks to toss our way, no big deal. I almost had it perfect. Go to kindoffunny.com. The following Friday, you can get it there. Just the next Friday. There's a new episode every Friday. You get earlier on patreon.com/kindoffunny.
Crazy
I haven't
shit,
figured out a great rigmarole for it yet. You know?
you look good. So here's the thing.
Here we
real
go.
talk. Real talk.
You look good doing it.
Now, when you came in today with the sweatshirt after Games Daily, what did I say? I was like,
What are you wearing?
I like that sweatshirt.
No.
I said I liked it.
No, you
I
made
gave
me
you a
fun of the
compliment.
sweatshirt then too, and then somehow you tried out the material
You're trying
on
to
me,
pivot,
and then here you are, using
I
it.
think I do. I like when you wear the crew neck.
That's
sweatshirts.
where I was gonna start.
I think
Is
it
that I
looks
don't know if
good.
you guys noticed, but crew neck sweatshirts have
you
come
don't-
back, and
but-
I'm starting to wear them
Papa,
more.
you gotta take this little. You gotta do take the shirt off underneath and then pop a little daddy hair. But I want to see a couple daddy hairs come out on top of it.
Is that how it should look, Tim? You're a fashionista.
If you're in the
Oh,
80s,
really?
you gotta have a little bit of the Tom Selleck going. Let me
Because
see
I
it,
like
doggy
wearing
dog.
the t-shirt underneath it in case I get warm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In case you get warm.
In case I get warm. If I get hot in the sweater, I can take off and I'm in a t-shirt.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you gotta go crew neck, nothing underneath.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the
Be
real
like
pro
Neve.
maneuver.
This is the hipster thing to do.
Neve
People
from
do this now.
Catfish. That guy has like a carpet on his chest. Jesus Christ. The
Yeah,
show
that's the way it
Catfish, the
goes.
guy
Yeah.
Neve.
The guy who did the movie Catfish now hosts the show.
Yeah, like whenever he just wears like standard t-shirts or any just sort of collared shirt, you just see underneath
can I see the one?
like, are you wearing an undershirt? It looks like he's wearing an undershirt. No, they don't.
Look, I got that weird tan line too. Then
Yeah, but that'll go away if you just keep rocking this. Plus, what's
well,
cool?
I don't rock them enough.
No,
I
you
have
know-
this one,
you know
the
what?
Deadly Class one.
Change it. Put it back. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Greg. Here's the thing. From
You're
this
gonna
camera
fucking-
view, it's
Yeah.
hard to tell the difference between your skin tone and the yellow.
I agree. I have
That's-
jaundice.
It doesn't matter.
The hep. I got the
Don't-
hep.
Like if you blur your eyes,
Squid Kid's
it looks like
fucking-
you're wearing a tank top.
You said don't let Squid Kid.
Don't let Squid
I
Kid
need
influence
whoever,
your-
I need Corey Cudney or whoever else has technical expertise, blur an image, a screenshot, and see if
It
you can
looks
make
like
it
you're
look.
wearing a tank top. Yeah.
Well, that's
I
just
mean, a
disturbing. I don't
little
like that
bit,
look
but
at all.
it's like a really flowy tank top, like it's a nightgown.
Which don't
it's
put
a
it past me.
90
I
We
would
get
do
to
it.
blur your
The
eyes. is what
idea
I'm
with
saying.
the shirt under the crew neck or whatever is usually accent matching with shoes and whatnot. If you were going to go, that
Okay,
route.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
or
the
maybe
fashion
wear
side.
maybe wear a purple, right?
But there's a
for
function
here.
side that you're bringing up, which is you want to be able to
Heat management.
heat management, which I understand.
Heat sinks.
Question.
Greg Miller.
Yes.
thanks.
Question for you, Tim. So I'm wearing black and white shoes. So shouldn't the black shirt then be an
Yeah,
accent?
but that's the thing is like black doesn't really count as the accent.
Okay,
like that's just a base color. That's a.
Could I get away with a blue to blue?
Blacks, whites,
primer.
grays.
It's a
Primary
color,
color.
like a-
That's
You're
not what I was-
neutral.
Can I do, if I did blue
Neutrals.
to match my
Neutrals.
jeans, would that work?
I bet
No,
see, the
you
problem
don't
is
match the jeans.
I'm never a fan of the darker undershirt to the lighter overshirt. Like I've never been able to wrap my head around that. If you've got a white undershirt with a black thing on top of it, I respect that.
What about when I wear the Deadly Class pullover sweatshirt that's black and I have a black t-shirt underneath? And then they just merge it together, right?
That's
Then it
probably
just
fine. I'm
merges,
fine with black on black, but light yellow on top of a black undershirt, I just don't like that look at all.
That's fair. For you,
I'm
I
also
won't do
just
it
not
today.
much for fashion right now. Like I just don't care. I just
can
came in.
tell.
I just threw on some stuff. Well, I mean, you guys are doing the biggest offense. Well, not necessarily Tim. Nick though, navy blue on the black is like a no.
It's in now.
Too close.
Well, I'm wearing the
in.
black with the navy, but it's only because I'm wearing the black and blue.
No, sure,
You know what I mean? But
gotcha,
I'm with you though.
gotcha.
Black and navy, you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's way too close. They're too close to each
Too
other.
close, man.
See, you would think that, but you're not seeing how light my denim is.
See that right
You do have
Denim-
it
no,
does
but it
really
has nothing to
light.
do
It's
with
really light.
gotta do the
the
whole
top
look.
half.
That's a
You guys don't look.
Nick had a good point. You're not seeing how light his denim is.
Look at that. That does look nice, I think. You know what I mean? Well, now you've thrown me through a loop because I was thinking about I needed to buy more sweatshirts like this.
I
I
think you
felt
should
like they've
wear.
fallen out of style for a long
You,
time.
you know what it reminds me of?
But now I don't want to be. I
Crew
don't want to be wearing. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, crew necks have been back. They're going to be here for a while.
yeah, but I don't want to do it. I don't know if I feel comfortable not wearing an undershirt.
I mean, it's not really that big of a deal with what.
Yeah, it's not a make or break
Nick
thing.
has
It's
shamed me
just
3 times today about my shirt.
Well, he's going through the thing of like, he felt bad, wanted to make it better.
no real talk. I like the way you look in a crew neck
I mean,
shirt.
real
I just
talk,
feel like
he's made
you
it
don't,
worse, and I
you
don't wanna look at him.
need the confidence.
Don't look at him.
I know why you're wearing the undershirt.
Don't look at him.
Why am I wearing the undershirt?
Because you don't trust being able to wear just the crew neck. You don't like the way it feels going fucking commando. But it's okay, Poppy. What I'm telling you is you can do it. You can pull it off.
You should have gotten the crew neck that Joey got at Nintendo store.
That was a cool one.
Cool crew neck right there.
Somebody should have invited me to the Nintendo store.
Whatever.
we
You were
did.
out adventuring on your
I
own.
know I was.
man.
I know I was. Don't worry about
This
it. I'm just
30 Rock
joking.
was a
Shit
magical
about
moment for
us.
me. Magical moment. These guys was lost on them. I was like, guys, this is where they make Saturday Night Live. And Tim was like, the clip show? Where they clip it out?
Yeah.
That show? And I was like, oh, it's not relevant.
Was that your
anymore.
first time there?
Yeah, I'd never been to 30
No
Rock.
way.
I think I'd been to I went to Radio City Music Hall one time, not realizing
across
that it
the
was
street.
right across the street from
Yeah.
30 Rock, because I think Aaron Boulding took me to Radio City Music
Aaron
Hall
Boulding?
when they had the NBA or NFL draft that year for Madden. Remember when Madden used to do the 2-day event where they'd, hey, let's fly to New York and you play Madden for like an
15
hour.
minutes
and you're like,
and then do every this other shit.
"Okay, it's Madden. Like, hey, hey, there's character dynamics. Great. I don't know.
There's character dynamics.
you know what I mean?
in
They're always like-
Madden.
they
I
always
love
make such a-
the relationship they're building between the
That's not
quarterback
what I
and
meant.
wide receiver.
What I meant was they always had like one new character or not
Tackle
character.
physics.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah, yeah.
You know, one new game mechanic is what I
Yeah,
meant to say.
yeah.
Where they're like, the new game mechanic this year is the fucking jerseys
The
flow.
quarterback cone
And
vision.
you're like,
I
okay,
hated
cool.
cone vision.
hated cone
sucked.
vision. Hated cone vision. Hated fighting for the fumble. Get out of here.
So they
dude.
were like, hey, Aaron's like, hey man, what we're gonna do is we're gonna see the game, and then we're gonna do interviews with, that's right, former NFL players like Joe Montana.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this is really cool. I get to meet Joe Montana, and it was all right. And we interviewed him for 5 seconds,
Yeah.
and it was cool. And I was like, why did I fly to New York for 3 days for this? And then we sat and
games.
watched the NFL draft, which, if you've ever watched, is the most boring fucking
Not very
thing
exciting.
you'll ever see.
Yeah, you're crazy.
After the first 3 picks, like, all right, number 15 on the draft. Let's wait. I was like, oh, this is
Are you
dumb.
excited to party now for real with Joe Montana?
Yeah.
Because he's what? I forget what his title is in the FCFL, the Fan Control Football League.
Big Daddy.
But what, yeah, you know, when we're there popping champagne at the draft, which I assure you will be more exciting as I scream into an internet void of what to
I'm
do.
thinking like, what do we get
Joey,
ourselves into?
Joey Montana will be there. He'll give me
I,
the feedback.
I
right?
wonder what the fallout is from the from the Alliance of American Football League shutting down. I wonder if any players are going to try to come over here.
To FCFL?
Yeah, I wonder.
If you are a player from the American Football League that just closed down, you want to join on the FCFL and you want to be part of the Milk Mommy team, feel free to start sending us videos of you throwing a football.
So
And I'll open it up to any kind of funny best friend. I want you to go to a park and have someone film you throw a football, and we'll see. We'll start a leaderboard to see who's throwing it the farthest and who's cutting the best promo.
Me and Nick will rank them on
You know what we got to get was I forget the best friend's name that used to do the Google Hangouts with us that plays football in London.
Ooh,
We got to get his ass in because he's huge.
that is a great one.
I forget his name. I apologize.
Last week we married two best friends here, and one Snowbike Mike was here as a witness, and I was leaning on him pretty hard that he's got to quit his job and try to be the try to be the coach of the Milk Mommies.
Oh, the coach.
If he applies, and then we have a fan vote for who's going to be the coach, it'll be Snowbike Mike.
Tell you what could possibly go wrong with that?
Well, do you care?
No, not at all. Well, here's my real.
What could go wrong?
We lose every game.
we lose
Snowbike Mike doesn't know
literally
how to
every
manage a
game.
team.
Yeah.
Everything goes
Nah, Snowbike
He's
Mike.
never
Are you
met-
He
kidding me?
hires his pugs as offensive and defensive coordinators.
He puts them in little shorts.
I just picture one of the pugs with like a clipboard. Like,
Like, right, you're not. Real talk though, how quickly do you think we're going to get some sort of fine from the governing sports agency of whatever is in
FCFL?
America? Is that what it?
If they try to fine us, we'll have the fans vote them down.
No, what I mean is like, I can just imagine that we're gonna break some sort of recruiting process law, like they do in colleges, where you're not allowed to make promises to kids or like pay them
That's
money.
college though. This is FCFL.
So anything goes. So we're
Anything
okay
goes.
to throw like
long as the
whatever the
fans
fuck
say
we
it
want
is.
at people to get them on the team.
100%.
Man, we're
As long as
gonna
the fans vote.
get thrown in jail.
Probably.
yeah. So the other league that was started was the AAF. And it was run by Oliver Luck, who's Andrew Luck's dad. He's a former quarterback or whatever. And it shut down within like 6 games, I think. And
Human trafficking.
they went bankrupt. And they just lost money, and the league shut down. And so it was kind of like pretty big news because this is supposed to be. I think what happened was there was a guy who was making a documentary on the XFL, and then while doing the documentary was like, we should start up a league the XFL. And the XFL made their announcement that like, hey, in 2 years we're coming. And the AAF was like, hey, we'll be there a year before you. So they beat them to the punch. And it was like, oh, they beat them in the timeline. Like, that sucks for XFL. And now it's already gone. So we'll see what XFL has up their sleeves.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to compete with the FCFL by then.
Yeah,
I mean,
fuck them.
We've already had first snap by then. Milk Mommies will be running across this great nation of ours, spilling their milk on anybody who gets in their way.
And the XFL isn't even extreme anymore. Like, there's...
No, yeah.
Like Vince McMahon came out and was like, I think one of the main reasons why like XFL was kind of big to begin with back in the day was like no player safety, which is horrible.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was like there's no fair catches. Like if you catch a ball, you're gonna get hit. There's no waiting or anything like that.
Fight for the football instead of a coin toss. Yeah.
And it's just not like that anymore. I think they like.
We'll see what it is. Who knows what it's gonna be?
Who knows what Vince McMahon has?
Well,
up
they
his-
can't do that shit anymore.
I like to imagine that like Shane McMahon's still gonna drop down from a from somewhere, do an elbow job on somebody.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the John Oliver bit?
No, I did not. I heard a lot of people tell me about
Fascinating shit.
Showed it to Jen last night. Yeah, if you haven't, you can
was
go
it?
watch last week tonight. John Oliver, the week before WrestleMania, did a segment about the WWE, and it's hilarious, obviously, and he's a fan of wrestling. He mentions that several times in there. But the thrust of it is that something I was not aware of, that technically, this is from what he has in the documents and the site he presented, WWE doesn't have employees. All the wrestlers are independent contractors, which...
I think that's how the UFC does it too.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think. I think the fighters are just contractors because
But
they
the
don't have
problem being
healthcare.
here is yeah, exactly. There's no healthcare for WWE, but the bigger problem of like at the very definition of what an independent contractor is, like they're signed to exclusive agreements, so they can't go work anywhere else.
So they can't be a contractor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can't go. It's like you can't pop down to APW here in the Bay and play and wrestle for a weekend.
That
You have
seems
to do
that might be a little bit of a conflict of interest.
Yeah, exactly.
I can
a ton
understand
of
that.
other like random little things where it's like if you're injured for more than like 6 weeks or something like really small, your contract can be terminated.
Yeah, I think the way UFC does it, and I'm probably going to misspeak here, but I think the way UFC does is they contract you for a certain amount of fights, and that's how they get around that. Where it's like if they contract Tim to fight, you're going to get like a 3-fight they're going to give you 3 fights or whatever it is. And then, but that makes kind of sense because they don't want you going and getting hurt at Bellator and then coming back and not being able to fill that contract. So that kind of makes sense. But WWE is obviously like a different thing because you have to be there every fucking week.
And that's the thing is there's no off season. And like they just go into all this stuff. It's really fascinating. Everyone should watch it. It is really, really interesting.
But I mean, but like I see both sides of it because to keep a roster that deep of employees would cost you a fuck ton of money in benefits and shit.
Like that's the thing is like then have there be off seasons for people. You know
That'd
what I mean?
be the argument, right? So let's have 10 employees that are our wrestlers that are here all the time, and then fill it with independent contractors to make it all happen.
But then you're going to get people like John Cena who are like, I don't want a salary, I want just money, and then I want to negotiate this contract every year. Because I mean, I imagine it's more like talent contracts than it is about than athletic contracts. But I could be wrong.
It's a fascinating thing. WWE put out a statement after the fact of just like, John Oliver is clearly a funny guy, but he didn't use the stuff we had sent him or whatever, and they invited him to WrestleMania to come find out. I never saw a response to it.
There was a response, which was essentially like, hey, cool, nice, but what about the answers to the questions?
Yeah.
And like they show interview footage, and of course it's very from a certain perspective, but they show interview footage of Vince McMahon. I forgot what this was from, but
it's 4x3 footage, so it's like old school Vince McMahon
shit.
Yeah,
but like it's some guy.
They're like, and now we cut to an interview of Vince McMahon, and it's 4x3 clearly from like WrestleMania.
Well, they didn't mean it was new, but he gets asked like, why are so many? He's like, why are so many wrestlers dying or whatever? And Vince goes, perhaps you should ask yourself that question. And the guy's like,
he looks at Vince and he goes, do you think that you're responsible in any way for all of the injuries and deaths in WWE? And Vince gets really upset and looks at him and goes, why don't you ask yourself that question? And the journalist is like, I mean, like, do you think? And then he's like, no, absolutely. In no way do I think I'm responsible. Why are you making that face? Do you think that I'm responsible?
And the guy's like, well, you hire them and they wrestle for you. And so, blah, blah, blah. And then Vince fucking smacks the papers.
And fucking like mocks him for a second, smacks the papers, like, holy shit, this is way too aggressive.
I mean, he probably gets asked that question a lot. And
well, this is back in the day, too, when he was coming
Stunner.
under attack from every different direction for backyard wrestling, for the deaths, for this. And like, I'm not saying he's not. It's not saying that's a normal reaction from a human being, nor am I saying he's justified to be that angry at a reporter. But I mean, like, I remember him doing similar things on like 2020 and other talk shows, getting all fucking fired up.
Yeah, well, I bring this up because you guys talking about the football stuff and like the
XFL and
AAF and XFL and all that stuff. Like now in there's a really interesting moment in wrestling right now where AEW is this new league coming up, and
Cody, right?
And it's from a legendary family of wrestlers, whatever, and it's like it does seem to be the first real competitor potentially to WWE that we've seen in a long time. There's been TNA,
I was
there's been
gonna say
some
TNA,
other things, but TNA essentially, I mean, they don't exist anymore. As far
well, no,
as I
they
know.
lost. I'm just saying, I remember them being a serious competitor when they came.
And AEW now is only interesting because all this stuff's kind of coming out at the same time, and people are jumping ship from WWE to go to AEW, and there's like a lot of people unhappy with how things are going. And all this John Oliver stuff is definitely bubbling up, and I think there's about to be a huge moment. I don't think AEW is going to win this one out, but I do think it's going to actually enact some change in the health side of WWE sooner than later.
I definitely think both the John Oliver thing bringing eyes to it and a thing that I had no idea. Did you know this? They're independent contractors and yada yada, like all that stuff. Like it was like holy fuck, right? And like he was like he encouraged people to bring signs to WrestleMania and start chants. We were at WrestleMania, we didn't see that.
The chance happened.
Really? I didn't hear him.
The "We Want Healthcare" like happened like 4 times.
Really? I
and
never heard it.
Gia was like, "What the
it.
fuck?" And I was like, "I'll show you the video later."
It's hard, but I mean, like that same debate happens in UFC all the time, where people are like, how are people expected to actually legitimately step in there and fight when they might get hurt to a point that it can bankrupt them? And to a degree, I mean, I imagine it's the same with WWE. Like you fall off something the wrong way and break your fucking back, and you're done.
And they're not
like,
responsible.
And the medical bills alone are going to just cripple you.
WWE. So other interesting things, and we're just spoiling this entire video, but you should still watch it. But they were talking about how and they showed the quotes from the contracts that are like WWE, even if they are responsible for the injuries or death, they are not responsible. Like even if it happens because of their negligence, the people are not. And
that wouldn't hold up in court though.
I mean, it has.
It has. But like if the scaffolding goes wrong or something like that, like someone could absolutely sue, and they're going to win.
You can sue for anything, but like in their contract, it clearly says.
I mean, but on one level, like I get both sides of this. I'm not like 100% pro one side or the other, because if you're running an organization like that, there is an inherent risk that you just have to accept if you're going to be a wrestler, and that risk. While it can be slightly mitigated, but like at the end of the day, like you're putting this is a combat sport, like an action sport, a combat sport. With UFC, it's a combat sport. Like you're stepping in a ring for someone to literally who's training to fuck you up. And like that, there just is an inherent danger that you have to accept with that, and there's an inherent bodily harm that's going to come along with that. So while I kind of sympathize with Vince in the way of like you have to have a level of organization that's going to allow that to thrive and to grow, and not be crippled by those injuries to happen. Having said that, like if he had to pay for everyone's healthcare, it might legitimately like bankrupt WWE. So it sucks, but. But the problem, I see it from both sides in that with UFC, it's so hard for up-and-comers to grow because they might have a really good fight, but they might take a lot of injury and then they just don't have the money to sustain themselves.
Yeah, and that they go into that.
Like with Conor McGregor, it's different. You're getting paid $10, $15, $20 million per fight. You get hurt, you got the money, the means, and the time to recover and the notoriety to come back and get another big payday. But that's not the same as like if your friend like Brandon wanted to go fight in UFC. He's in a much different ballpark or ball game than Conor is. It's just not going to happen. Like if I wanted to go fight in the UFC right now, and then that first fight went bad, it would suck. That'd be done. It would not happen for me.
Yeah, I do think you'll see a change in WWE in terms of this, right? Because I feel like they're a smart enough company, especially for the era they're in now of being the PG, trying to be there for everybody and family friendly. And with, obviously Stephanie and Hunter getting closer and closer to just running the show on their own, right? Whether what's going to happen with Vince. And also I think Vince softening in some ways as he's gotten older. But what I went back to when I was watching it, right, and finished it, it was like, holy shit, I can't believe it's that bad. And then saw a WWE statement and then it's like, whatever, and blah, blah. I'm not saying there's got to be a truth somewhere more in the middle, right? Because like my thing was, and I have not talked to him about it, but like Xavier Austin is such a smart dude. Like I can't imagine him ever being like, yep, life sucks and I'm totally being abused and I'm not gonna get out of it or have a way to do, and granted, I mean, he's doing the YouTube channel and doing all these different things. Like he's preparing for a life one day where he does not have to wrestle. Yeah. But I also don't think, I don't know. I don't think
many people are though. I think he is definitely a exception to the rule because I mean, they showed so many people that their life's wrestling, and the moment they're not in WWE, it's like, what do I do anymore?
Yeah, but again, my argument, not even counter argument to that. My argument would be that I think maybe wrestlers today are a little bit more hip to the game of what they're doing, right? Where it's like, yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts was just fucking doing drugs and fucking people in every city he went to, right? Yeah. And then wrestling, and then when it was all over, it was over. Same with Roddy Piper. And granted, product of the 80s, right? Like this is what they're doing. Whereas like now, you look at somebody like The Miz, you look at Sasha Banks, you look at CM Punk, the way they're gonna do this, but build their brand at the same time and get.
We'll see. I definitely think that there are rare exceptions of people that are understanding the side of it. I think that Austin is one of the only people that I see differentiating and having other alternate sources of revenue and things going on. Yeah. Sasha, I don't know. I don't know if you guys know at all, but like this last week was not good for Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
And like,
why? What happened?
With this AEW, she's not happy with WWE. Who knows how much of this is rumors? Who knows how much of it?
Yeah, it's all
like
backstage. It's all storyline stuff we're hearing now.
But like.
But yeah, her dropping the belts
apparently she almost quit.
Yeah, dropping the belts at Mania was not cool. They thought they're gonna have a longer run with it, so they are apparently been out of shape.
And a lot of this is hearsay, she say bullshit. But like, I don't know.
Think you better quit.
With AEW, I don't know.
Shit. You believe him with a fat lip?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also I don't have an understanding of how much like top mid-tier wrestlers make. Because I have to imagine the people that this affects most aren't the John Cenas or the people who are like, Ronda Rousey doesn't need. I don't think she's hurting for healthcare money. Like she's a multimillionaire at this point, and probably making a ton of money through the UFC or through WWE. But I just have to imagine like the up and comer guys like that are 2-3 years in that are trying to cut the mustard, but they're having to get fucking CT scans every month or so at $2,000 a pop. Like how do you sustain that?
Well, one of the most fascinating things in this is CM Punk, who has had a lot of issues with WWE and is no longer with them anymore. But there was a radio interview that was in this episode talking about how, they only have to do one physical examination a year. That's all they're required to do. And even when you do that,
to get cleared to go wrestle.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And that the doctors will essentially be cool to give you the out so that you don't need to say you're injured and leave, because if you do that, your contract's at risk. And it got to the point where they're like, he got a concussion, and the doctor's like, do you have a concussion, or do you want to get on the flight to London? And like,
so that doctor should absolutely lose his medical license.
And then because
they started giving him Z-Packs, which I'm not familiar with those even are.
Z-Packs are like
they're for like malaria, isn't
that's
it?
That's an antibiotic.
Yeah, it's essentially just giving you a shit ton of medicine to like solve a bunch of different problems.
I'm thinking something different. Sorry.
Like it's like mega vitamins, and it made him shit his pants on SmackDown. Like in a match at some point, and then he like owned it and tweeted about it, and WWE made him take it down. It's just not a good look.
I mean, look at no ifs, ands, or buts. If a doctor knows you have a concussion and gives you an out with that person should lose a medical license, That's not.
I mean,
that's a serious fucking thing.
that was
if
the
you get hit in
NFL
the
for,
head,
like,
you
ever.
can die.
That was the best. Have you seen this yet? The John Oliver bit?
No.
There's an awesome thing. He's like, when you lose the moral high ground to the NFL, you are morally subterranean. Because he was talking about how, like, I forget what the NFL does if you get injured.
Yeah, now the NFL, like, is if you get hit, if you take a big hit, and if a player shows any sign of wooziness, you go straight to the sideline. And it used to be that, like, the player would stay in the game, he'd wave him off, and I mean, even back in the day, they would go back and do like a concussion test or whatever, and they put the tent over them so that they're fully covered from the media or whatever. And there were several times that players would fail, and the coach would, whatever, they'd go around the rules and they'd get back in the game. But now they're like extremely strict about, like, if you show any sign, you go to the tunnel. And they'll say, oh, he's back being examined. And then a couple of minutes go by and they're like, oh, he's not cleared to return. So he's out for the rest of the game. He showed signs of concussion.
But like at a certain point, like that's one of those things where you have to enforce that rule unilaterally, or else it's, in order to affect real change. Like if someone's injured, you have to do that. And that'll change the game. But I think it'll make the game better ultimately, because you'll have less injuries. You'll have people being more responsible about it. But I heard a thing the other day where someone was talking about concussions. I think it was on Rogan's podcast, where he was saying that people are getting concussions now without even hitting, having head to head or head to body contact. It's just the pure shock of the force of someone hitting you that fucks up your head, even if they don't hit your head, which is like, I mean, it's a scary thing. But it's the question of, like, at what point do you have to take responsibility for you being a person who's willfully taking part in this stuff? And that's where I think a lot of the discussion needs to be had. Whereas like UFC is doing it with drug testing, where about 2-3 years ago, they brought in a new organization to fucking crack down on drug tests and steroid uses. And it's changed the sport, but they have to enforce it across the board, which means that they have, like, Dana White and I forget who owns it now, but to their credit, they've lost a lot of money probably because of that choice.
Sure.
But they're playing the long game, which is, if we can clean this up and if we can make sure all of our fighters are healthy and clean coming into this, then ultimately we're gonna make up for that deficit. But I mean, you're talking about John Jones got popped like twice in a row. That's a big loss of revenue.
He gets popped all the time.
All the time. I think he got popped again in his last fight, but I think they gave him a pass on it because it was like a very minuscule amount that could be trace amounts of something else. But like Lesnar got popped for it. Like, all these guys get popped for it, but you gotta enforce these rules if you want to, especially in this day and age where people just don't let shit go anymore. It's not like people go, oh, someone, like in the 80s, it was like, is someone using steroids? Look at this though. He hit a ball real hard. He hit the ball real hard. Now it's like, no, we should talk about that steroid thing. What's that?
Early 2000s.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But no, you're right. And I mean, I think that again is the WWE thing. That's again, and I love the John Oliver pit, and they do deserve healthcare, and I'd say they probably need to unionize, like Jesse Ventura and the John Oliver thing brings up, right? But it's also the same way that WWE's aged up a lot, and I think it's cost them a lot as well, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas I watch WWE and I like it, don't get me wrong, but I loved the Attitude Era, right? I loved fucking Mick Foley covered in blood, taking fucking headshot after headshot after headshot with a steel chair from The Rock, and like headshot. You can't hit anyone in the head with a fucking chair anymore. Period. If they bleed now, it's real. It's not. They bladed, which is the old thing of taking a razor blade and cutting your head so you bleed. Terrible. Now it's like a real thing, and you see the ref immediately hit his thing and say something, and then put on the blue gloves because that's like they're trying to elevate it that way.
Because
didn't
Ronda get a little bloody?
Oh yeah, a lot.
They get bloody.
They get bloody all the time.
But like that can be the point.
But it's like it's no longer on purpose. Like that's what they're driving for, right? And it's the same thing of like in the thing of the interview, like the John Oliver bit. He uses the Bret the Hitman Hart documentary footage, right, where he's like, Vince treats people like circus animals and yada yada yada. It's important to point out that was like from like 1997, right? Yeah. Bret Hart was just inducted again as the Hart Foundation into the Hall of Fame, right? So it's like, for him even, and granted, that's a podcast unto itself of Bret Hart and Vince McMahon's story of the Montreal Screwjob, his brother Owen dying in the ring, them coming back. I mean, there's so much there that I do think we're dealing with a different WWE. Clearly not a perfect WWE in any stretch of the imagination, right? Like I would much rather be that they take care of people. Yeah. But again, even to that point, and again, I'm cherry picking answers here, right? I remember when Droz got paralyzed in the ring, right? And I remember that WWE took care of him. Like they took care of him from at least the first few years. What happened afterwards, I don't know, but I remember they took care of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's hard. I mean you get all these same criticisms of like guys like Dana White, where these are organizations that you have to kind of like you have to be really tough if you're going to be the leader on, and I totally understand that. The question is like, where's their level of like, hey, this is good for the organization versus, hey, we're just being kind of greedy.
Sure.
And I think that's a big conversation because I don't think Vince McMahon's hurting for money.
No,
I think
and that's John Oliver's whole
healthcare.
thing is that like it's important that he's
got some fucking
he's a
mogul.
millionaire, an asshole on TV, but he's an asshole in real life, and he goes through all examples.
And
And
I get that.
yeah, but it's a
tough.
complicated issue, and it's just like anything else in our industry of gaming. It was like, wow, good on you, John Oliver, for bringing this up because it is a lot of shit to wrestle with.
You guys should watch it, and even if you don't have HBO, it's on YouTube for free.
Totally.
The whole 24 minutes.
On a totally related note, I for some reason went down a rabbit hole of Googling top 50 golden era wrestlers from like the golden era. And I was like, this is fascinating because for whatever reason, I'm like fascinated by wrestling now, but I want to go. I'm like, you know me, I kind of want like a base knowledge of it from the beginning. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back to the 80s and see who people think were like the top 50 wrestlers in the 80s.
Gorilla
Would you
Monsoon.
be? Actually, the reason I got it was because something I was watching said Jimmy Snuka, and I was like, oh,
Superfly, Jimmy Snuka.
I was like, is it Superfly? So I Googled that. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't Snuka. It was Junkyard Dog.
oh sure.
I saw him come up in something, and I was like, what era was he? What years was he? So I started reading this article of top 50 wrestlers. Would you believe that Hulk Hogan wasn't number one in this article that I read?
Sure.
Who do you think was number one?
Andre the Giant.
No, he was number
From
7.
the 80s.
From like the golden
What
era.
do we? So, but you keep saying that. What does that mean?
Flair?
No, he was like number 9.
So
This article I read put Macho Man Randy Savage as number 1. At like the top 50. I mean, I assume golden era was like right before Attitude Era, right? Is that how it works?
yeah,
You're thinking
I'd
like
say
Hulk
so.
Hogan, Ultimate Warrior,
it's like
those
early
moments.
90s. Yeah,
They put Ultimate
late
Warrior
80s.
as like number 4,
Yeah.
which I felt like was probably a little high on the list from what I remember of him.
Depends. I mean, it's just, what are you judging on? What are the criteria for this?
Yeah.
Right? It's not. Yeah. I mean,
There's no way
work
number one's
put
not
in.
Hogan.
Notoriety.
Like, look at the WrestleManias. Hogan was main event every
Right.
single one. It's like whether or not, and I know that now.
I mean, this was
bigger.
by the way, a random article that I found. Couldn't tell you what
Yeah.
website it was on. I'm sure it was someone's blog
Paginated.
spot
You're going through all 50
No, it
pages.
wasn't paginated, which is nice. It was actually just a nice scroll. But I was like, because I remember you guys referring to me as or saying something in context to me and Ted DiBiase. Remember,
Sure,
you're like,
exactly.
Nick, I think you'd like
$1
Ted
Million Man.
DiBiase.
Yeah.
And I look back, I'm like, I like this guy. I like this guy. But I feel like Greg's more of a Ted DiBiase just for the fact
sure.
that he
Cheating,
pays people
paying
to
people off. Yeah,
pay
100%.
people to do
I
ridiculous
can't win the title,
shit.
so I'll make my own title, and I'll never defend it. Yeah, 100%. That's right in my alley. Yeah.
I just think it's so fascinating. It's a whole era of or a whole movement or a moment in time that I just sort of like I was on the sidelines for. Of course, I remember Hulk Hogan. I remember Hulkamania. I remember all of this, like a Hulk Hogan being in fucking Rocky 3 and like being
Sure.
a huge
And then
deal.
Three Ninjas 4.
There you go.
Gremlins 2.
But I don't remember. I really didn't watch any wrestling in the 80s, and which is kind of like
It's a magical moment.
It's sad.
It's
'Cause
hard.
You look
It's
back
so-
and it's so creative and so
And that's the thing is
ridiculous.
going back and watching stuff, and even some of the John Oliver bits where they're talking about the different territories, and you're watching old shit. It's so crazy to think about like where it was then and where it is now, in the way that you went there and you believed it, right? And I remember I grew up a huge Andy Kaufman fan, and so
Yeah.
like I remember watching all the documentaries about that, and when he got pile drived by Jerry the King Lawler, and it was on the real news, and they were like, "Look at this, Ted. Tell me that doesn't hurt." Like they were like commentating, like when he gets taken out in a stretcher, and the thing, people like thought he was really like fucking paralyzed, you know? And it's just like so crazy that the suspension of disbelief back then of how that would all work, and then to where it is now, which is like, you know, it is this mainstream
But you-
popcorn
but
entertainment that we all know what we're getting
If
into.
you look at it, you're like, yeah, people totally believe that. And then I'm scrolling down and I get to the Road Warriors. And I'm like, who the fuck believed that these guys are real? They had face paint.
They're all fucking
spikes on their
crazy,
shoulders.
man.
Yeah.
Shoulder pads.
Dude,
God bless
the footage when it was showing the different territories and stuff. Like, I don't know that stuff at all.
Yeah.
And then
Mid-Atlantic.
They showed a ton of like clips of people talking, and then one was Jim Ross.
Yeah. Jim
Like-
Ross in there a couple times.
Like 20 years old or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'm like, holy shit!
In a
Like I've
tuxedo,
only
yeah.
known him as this old ass man.
Yeah.
But like I
Who's
heard him
now
talking. And I'm like,
AEW?
I was like, yeah. Now he's like running it. Well, not running, but like behind the scenes
Yeah.
running AEW. Cool shit.
Who was the announcer that was like kind of balding but would wear the red bow tie? Like mustache red, but he kind of looked like
Jesse-
a Micro Machines guy.
oh, Howard Finkel.
that's okay.
He was a ring announcer.
Yeah.
Finkel came in to did that thing with me at IGN back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
That was surreal. Yeah, where we came in and announced the roster for WWE All Stars, but we filmed it to look like shit.
That's
We
right.
wanted to make it look like it was Mid Atlantic South Wrestling, circa 1975.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Every time Jamie from THQ runs into him, he goes, "How's Gregory James?"
That's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Finkel was awesome. I mean, that's, you know, it was such a different world. So crazy to think about how it was then versus what it is now, where I think part of the enjoyment right now of watching WWE, right, like we were going into Mania, wasn't even like Man, I wonder what's gonna happen in this match. It was like, I mean, the match is gonna be good because we trust the performers. But then also, do you think they'll win based on backstage drama? Do you think the rest of the card? They can't have too many good guys winning, right? Like,
I mean, dude, that's the thing is like this is the era. They call this the reality era because of all the reality TV shows and stuff that have popped up, like Total Divas and
Love it.
Miz and Mrs. or whatever the hell and all that shit.
Great fucking name, by the way.
Yeah, that's
great
It's
fucking
really
name.
great. All that stuff, but like it's now turning finally into Twitter and stuff where it's like beefs are happening on Twitter and they haven't
Becky
done that.
Lynch is great at that.
And it's like this thing with Sasha right now. It's like Alexa Bliss just blocked Sasha, and it's like, why? Is that storyline stuff, or is this like there's actual shit going on? And it's weird, and I like that because it's like it's wrestling isn't real, but it's like we're still not sure what's gonna happen, and that's the beauty of it all. It's like even in 2019, you don't go to the WrestleMania knowing that Kofi's gonna win. You know what I mean? We didn't know that. It's really cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I totally different from what we're talking about right now.
Sure.
Do you ever just like become a new person, right? And you want to tidy up and flip your life around?
No.
This weekend, I was very, very sick, right?
Pretty happy with
And it was, I believe it was Saturday. And what I did was like, I put a couple things in a trash bag and I was like, I'm cleaning this whole fucking room because I'm a mess. I'm really disgusting and messy.
Really?
You can tell by my desk. I'm very, very gross and very disorganized. And I was like, I have been wanting to do this for a long time. It's Saturday. I have the whole day to myself. And I essentially just reorganized my room. I Marie Kondo'd the shit out of my fucking life. And I threw a bunch of stuff in trash bags.
It's a good feeling.
Threw out a bunch of
Great
clothes
feeling.
I don't want, which I still need to drop off. But I put these giant bags of clothes in the trunk of my car and like get out of here forever, you know?
Yeah.
Because they've just been kind of in the walkway. And I have so many like Amazon boxes that I tore down, put in recycling. It felt
Feels
great.
good.
And I love my room is arranged in a new way now to where I feel like I can breathe, and I feel like any interior designer would be like, "Oh, it's way more open now." Like Bobby from Queer Eye would be like, "Yeah."
Oh, what's her name? What's her name? The Japanese woman.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, Marie Kondo. Yeah,
And she's like, you're gonna condo it up.
yeah. I just said that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, but it was just like a weekend of that shit. And I'm really and last night I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go the extra step. I'm gonna buy a new comforter,
Whoa.
buy new bed sheets, buy new
Brooklinen.com?
pillows. Oh,
You should have done that. You should have done that.
Dang.
Oh, by the way, we're
Brooklinen.com/.
sponsored today. Who?
We're today sponsored by
You told me I didn't need to do it, so I didn't
Warby
write it.
Parker and someone else.
Cool. We'll look for those ads later.
Yeah, it was just a weekend of that. And it's like it came out of
feels good,
nowhere.
right?
It feels great. Like I feel like my room can breathe better.
Yeah.
I feel like I can breathe better because I was getting to the point where my bed was in a position to where it was like bed, streaming desk, and TV with barely any room. Whenever I wanted to watch TV, it's right in front of my bed, right? And I'm essentially just like crisscross applesauce on top of the bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like right in front of it, and my back starts to hurt.
Sure.
And then I'm like, all right, well, let me switch up the position. So I sleep with my stomach to stretch out my back. And it was a mess. So now it's like in a position to where there's walking room in between me and the TV. I'm really, really happy.
Our little
with it.
Andy's growing up.
And I finally
appreciate
started
it.
putting up like my art prints that I've had.
Yeah?
That I just.
That's big. That's the big thing. Yeah.
I finally started. I've been in this fucking apartment for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm finally doing that. Bought more blackout curtains because the curtains we have, our windows are very, very tall. Like we have very, very high ceilings in our apartment. And
You'd have abnormally high ceilings. in your
yes,
apartment.
yeah,
They're very
especially
high.
in my room, they're
weird.
They're extremely high, and the windows are so
You have a whole
fucking
other.
tall.
You should put the loft in your room and have like bunk beds up there.
That'd be so tight.
That'd be really
That'd be really cool. The windows are so tall that I think I measured it out. I think that it's like 80 inches tall or some shit like that.
Jesus.
And the curtains I have them a little bit shorter off the top so that they cover all the way to the bottom or whatever. But on the top, a lot of sunlight bleeds in. I hate it. I fucking hate waking up to like a lot of sunlight. It's the worst thing in the world. I'm such a I need my room to be pitch black in order for me to fall asleep. So I bought longer curtains.
Wow.
Just cleaning my life out, guys.
That's good for you,
Becoming
man.
a new person.
You gonna get a real haircut soon?
No,
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear.
no. God
No,
no.
I had a couple weeks ago gone into the closet with the big old IKEA bags and like drastically cut down the t-shirt collection because there's so much shit I just never wear.
Sometimes would you believe that I wake up in a cold sweat at night thinking about that t-shirt closet of yours.
Sure. Why are you in my t-shirt closet?
I
So much?
went there one time in one of your parties, remember? Because I was like,
Oh, right. You need a shirt.
I was like, hey, can I get a shirt?
that's
And you're like,
right.
yeah, go. He was like, yeah, just go in my closet. I was like, which one? He's like, you'll know. And I walked in and it's wall to wall. Like Greg has never thrown out a t-shirt in his life.
You never know when you need them. I have a lot of special occasion shirts.
But what I don't understand is how he A, remembers them, and B, what is I was like, what is the filing process?
Well, you
for
know,
this?
once you get down to like past the halfway point, that means you're never gonna get worn. Like, why do you even bother?
I don't even
Why do I
know.
even bother having you?
Like literally, I'm the opposite of both of you. As I left my house today, my wife was like, "Hey, just remember that you're one hanger short, so you have to throw a t-shirt out."
Oh, I bought new hangers too.
And she was, and I was like, she goes, just may I just give you like
A suggestion
for one? I was like, what? She goes, you have a jujitsu shirt in there. You've only won one time. Just letting you know.
Nice.
I was like, damn,
Yeah.
how do you know this?
Hammer's coming down,
Yeah, dude.
But
It's
I had gone through and
justice.
and cut it down and put them into the bags, but then the bags sat there forever. You know what I mean? Because we don't have a car to put them in, so they just
Yeah.
sat there by the windows.
Yeah, you got to just Uber those
And so, yeah,
fuckers over to the Goodwill.
On Saturday, Jen and I went out for her birthday and did a bunch of stuff in San Francisco. We ended up buying a new framed art for the bedroom or whatever. And so Sunday it got dropped off, and then it was like, all right, cool. We got a zip car, took those bags over to the old Goodwill.
Smart.
Speaking of which, that's that clothing store at the top of the street, abandoned. It's just it's still empty.
Where at?
25th and Lincoln, we're over by the Olds place.
Oh yeah, the one that used to be the Iron Boot place or Iron Works place.
Hardware.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So I'm just
What a
saying,
great name
if we wanted to move
for,
the
like,
studio,
construction clothing.
the new studio back to the old
that you
neighborhood.
hated living in. There was never any good. You think the Marnie Thai people
Oh
miss
my
us?
God, Marty Ty would be so thrilled to have
They
us
used,
back.
remember how
Are you
they used to
kidding me?
flirt with Kevin a little bit?
Yeah, of
Every
course
time
they
Kevin
do.
would go and they'd
that's
get a little
not-
like.
Remember we'd
fancy
call
with
and
them?
they would just say, "Hey, Kevin."
They'd be like, "Is Kevin there?"
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I would call to put the order and like, "Is this Nick? What's Kevin up to?"
Yeah, exactly. Can we talk
I
to
was like, "He's
Kevin?
over on the couch. What's he wearing?
Weird
Standard
one.
torn jeans and
When we
flannel."
start going back there, you guys have your Starbucks walk again.
Oh, that was a good walk.
You'd have
I
it.
missed
I wouldn't
that.
mind having a legit Starbucks within walking
That's
distance.
the problem is we don't have a walking distance Starbucks from here. The exception is the Target
No,
one.
that's a
but
shit.
it's a little
Doesn't
too
count.
far,
Shit doesn't
and it
count.
doesn't
Shit doesn't
count.
count.
It's just far enough.
Here's the thing. They water down their iced coffee.
do.
And I
It's
swear to God, they're like,
bad.
no, we don't. I was like, motherfucker,
trust
I go to
you.
at least 3 Starbucks every day. It's like when you go to a bar, you're watering down your vodka. It's like the Ocean's 8. When there's a water, it's like, that's a dumb way to make money. You fucking rob places. Like, why do you need to water down shit? Don't like it. Won't do it.
Also, in cleaning out my
Sorry.
room, notice
A little
how,
spacey right now.
I've always known that I've been losing my hair, right? Nothing more noticeable than
For him,
when I'm moving a fucking bed from one side of the wall to another
And there's a little
and just
mini-
seeing all of the hair on the floor.
Andy gerbil down there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I just swift the shit out of it, clean the shit out of everything. Also bought slippers.
Oh, house slippers?
Yeah, finally
Damn,
bought
dude,
some
you changed your
slippers.
life this weekend.
I'm just, you know.
Greg used to have house slippers for me when I
Feeling
come over
good,
to
I'm
shoot things
32.
at his house, but he
we destroyed
didn't do
them
it anymore.
We destroyed them.
I have
They were
a very,
potatoes.
very quick tangent story that
Lay
we
it
then
on
we can
me.
get back to this. But talking about your hair and like all that stuff. Me and Gia went to some of her friends' house and like had dinner and shit. But
What'd you have?
they made fish, like this really, really elaborate fish.
Don't want fish now.
And we were there, and they did the whole like we're on a balcony. It was in the East Bay. It was a disaster in my opinion. Why would anyone want to live there?
Like
but-
going out there?
Super nice house, ridiculously nice house. But I'm like driving across the Bay Bridge, and I'm like these monsters.
Like a fucking peon.
Yeah.
So I'm over here. They have this like
How
beautiful
dare they want to
balcony.
afford housing?
It's
Bridge and
gigantic.
tunnel bullshit.
And I'm sitting here and like I'm just like, okay, we're here. It's sunset, and I'm just getting there's mosquitoes everywhere. Who wants to eat outside? I'll never fucking understand this. But these things I see them biting everyone. But then if there's one thing you know about Tim Gettys, I love excessive amounts of hair product, right? So my hair, it's a fucking fortress of solitude up there. These goddamn little mosquitoes getting in, getting trapped. And
Laying eggs,
I
laying eggs.
can feel it. And I'm like,
Sucking
this
your
is
skull meat.
horrible. And Gia keeps like picking at me, like, because they're over here.
Oh, like a gorilla.
Now, were they
Exactly.
mosquitoes or those the little annoying gnat things?
The little guys, but they're still trying to suck your blood. You know what I mean?
Gnats,
Because
yeah.
mosquitoes, I fucking hate mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes are
if they're just the
different,
little ones
yeah.
that look like mosquitoes, but they're not. They're just like the little skinny flies, like the supermodel flies. Those are I don't give a shit
You can
about
fly
those.
around as long as you can't do damage. It's like
But it's when you
bumblebees
hear
versus
the
wasps.
fucking.
Yeah, God, no.
He's here.
Flash forward
And
to
you're
the
about to get
story.
fucking West Nile
is
virus?
I have so many bites
yeah?
all over
Oh,
my
yeah.
fucking head.
Oh, they were real mosquitoes
and
then.
I woke up a morning and my pillowcase was just covered in fucking blood.
Oh my
From
God.
these fucking goddamn
Holy
mosquitoes.
shit.
It's bad, dude. Like right now, it's like if I scratch, there'd just be blood.
Oh my
you might
God.
have some
West
sort of
Nile?
West Nile or Zika.
Maybe.
Yeah, Zika's
Be
bad.
careful.
Don't get Zika.
Yeah.
Don't
Or
get
not.
pregnant.
Zika
I'll try
you.
not to. But anyway, fuck mosquitoes. Back to your story.
Anyway, yeah, I've just been tidying it up, man. I'm
Good
just
for you, man.
What happened?
Yeah.
Why pull your life together now?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I had
24. Gotta get it.
I had a weekend, and I was just,
Put on some Game of Thrones and just
exactly,
tidy
dude.
up,
That's
baby.
exactly what the weekend was. It was just a lot of that. And first off, I was watching the Dallas Fuel burn blue twice this weekend. Great
blue,
weekend for
right? They
sports,
crushed
guys.
it.
Holy shit! Dallas Fuel winning 2 games. The Spurs won the first game of their playoffs against the Denver Nuggets. Tiger Woods winning the best redemption, completing the best redemption arc sports has ever seen. Cheater, liar, Tiger Woods down in the dumps, rock bottom for a fucking decade, pretty much.
Was he a cheater? Oh, he cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
I thought you meant cheater in the sport. I was like, how do you cheat in golf?
Wins the Masters.
Hologram balls.
Wins his first Masters since 2005. His first major since 2009 or 8. Just unbelievable. Like, I never saw it come. And it was one of those things where I went to bed super late the prior night. So I woke up like at noon to a text from my dad saying like, Tiger. And I was like,
Uppercut.
wait, like, is he, I know that he's close. Maybe he's like kind of getting, and I Googled, I was like, oh my, he fucking won. And this was something that like everybody's like, for the last 3 years has been like, no, Tiger's done. There's no chance.
Retire, bitch.
There's no chance. Well, not only with how he was feeling emotionally, but it was back surgery after back surgery after back surgery where it was like his body's breaking down. He can't do this anymore. There's no chance in hell he'll ever get close to winning another tournament, much less another major. There's 4 majors a year. Those are like the big dogs. And he fucking
Which
did
one's
it.
Wimbledon?
Tennis.
Okay.
You did it with a D, though. Good
I
job.
try to.
Yeah, good
I don't
job.
like to annoy you. I don't
Yeah.
like to say things if it's going to annoy Kevin.
Anyway, it was a great weekend for sports, man. Go Spurs, go.
Burn blue.
Burn blue.
Burn blue, man. Oof. They burned blue, let me tell you.
I watched a fascinating documentary this week. I was telling Tim about on the ride to one Chipotle, which I want all you guys to watch. It's Studio 54, the documentary. Really fucking
I
good.
started it. It fell off for some reason.
Oh really? Oh man, it starts a little bit weird, but when they get going, it is just one of the most surreal, crazy fucking stories. And like it is truly one of those like truth is stranger than fiction moments.
Yeah.
Where they just wanted these 2 guys started this. Are you familiar with Studio 54 at all?
I just know that it was like drugs and fucking and music
was
and
even more than that. Like, so the reason I think Tim would love it is because they part of the documentary goes over the fact that they found this abandoned theater. And they had a lot of lights and shit left in it. And so they embraced that and they brought in set designers. And they were like, basically, we want to make the best like club on the fucking planet. And we want it to be in Manhattan. And we found this great space. And we're going to, they basically had no permits for any of this shit, but they just did it anyway. And they didn't even have a liquor license. They were like, we couldn't get a liquor license in time. So what did they do, Tim? That's a great question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
They went and got catering permits. Nightly catering permits every day.
Good for them.
Which at a certain point, the licensing, the people that give away licenses in New York were like, okay, we got to stop this.
they
fucking shit.
basically
Like, you guys
did-
got to get a fucking
they
license.
basically like we're creating new logins every day for HBO.
That's exactly what it is. And so, but what was cool is seeing the actual, because I'd never seen the actual inside of Studio 54. I'd only seen the movie with Ryan Phillippe, which I don't think was I don't remember being very good. But seeing them and how they literally had like lights, these columns of lights that would come down from the ceiling onto the dance floor. And I'm like, and then they were like at a certain point, like at 2:00, that was like monsoon season. So they would just make it rain.
Fuck yeah,
and it's like, you can't do this shit anymore. And the idea behind it was the guy was like, when people came in here, I wanted them to think that literally anything is possible.
I love
and
that
there
you
would be
were
shots of
telling
like
me
a
this
fucking,
earlier.
it would be like Liza Minnelli and a horse.
Yeah, earlier Nick Scarpino was like, literally, they wanted anything to happen. Like, they look over and there's a llama. Like, that's the weirdest example.
They just were like,
Any farm animal.
it was really cool. And then of course they get into the whole reason why it shut down because they were like giving millions off the top for no reason.
Yeah.
No reason. They were like, people would ask him, why did you steal that money from why didn't you just report all that money in income tax? They're like, I don't know.
Fuck the man. That's why.
We just thought we could do anything. But seeing those old photos and seeing like they're just moments where the guy one of the main guys, I think he was played by Mike Myers in the movie, would walk out and it would just be just throngs of people outside, and he would just be like,
Good work.
You never wear that hat again, go home and change. And people would just get pissed. But the more pissed they got, the more they wanted to fucking
That's
get
how
in.
it works, man.
And there would be people like models that would come and be like, I got in 1 week, and then the next week wore like something very similar, and they just wouldn't let me in, and I have no idea why.
I love it.
And it was just so.
Where can you watch this?
It's on Netflix. It's called Studio 54, the documentary or something like that.
As somebody who
it's
never
really well done.
never goes out to clubs or anything like that, I'll never forget the one time that I was turned down by a club. And just thinking like, this is such a movie thing. That doesn't happen in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like walking up to this club, and I think it was for my 21st birthday. But like we walked up and the guy was like, nah, not with those shoes, man. Can't get in. Like you need dress shoes. And I was like, oh my God, it actually does happen. Like, it's just not something I ever thought was actual real life. I thought it was just a movie thing.
Every time I go to Vegas and we decide to do the club night, one of my dipshit friends gets turned away for not wearing the right shoes. Like Ty will try to get in with flip flops, and you're like, Ty, come on, man. Yeah, that's all I brought, man.
Dude,
what do you want me to do?
If you want to get kicked out of or not get
shoes.
into a club, hang out with James Burke, because he's just the triple whammy of it's like
Jersey,
wearing a hat, wearing sports attire. It's just like and wearing fucking Air
All
Force
the things
Ones.
you're not supposed to wear.
And it's just like, and every time there's like a friend's birthday or
so
something, and we have a
fucking
group
good.
text, and like it's like, hey, be here at this time. We're like, I guess we're going to a goddamn club. James Burke will be like, hey man, you think it's cool if I wear a hat? It's like, James, just fucking don't ask us. Call them if you want to call them.
Don't do
or
it.
Don't. Just show up in a stupid polo, like call it a day. But no, he
God
wears
bless
his
him.
damn San Francisco
He's
Giants
got his
jersey and
look,
hat.
dude. That's his comfort zone.
That's all he got, man.
Nothing
No,
about the
but-
club life does anything for me.
I still really, I always laugh
we would
about
have wanted to go to this one.
I've read about Studio 54 and seen
Because-
other things about it. I don't think I would have wanted to go there. I
think-
mean, they show Fonz is there. They show Henry Winkler there and stuff like that.
But the idea behind this club was that it became like, almost overnight became the spot to be. And it wasn't even about necessarily like the drug use or the alcohol use, although of course that played largely into it, but it was about like, just they would let people in based off of who they thought was going to have the right vibe. And so one of the things that they did was they were like, it was a huge mixture of celebrities, athletes, and just normal people who just had the right look and the right vibe, and they would get in. And so you could just be a normal person and turn around and fucking like
Andy
Warren
Warhol.
Beatty or Andy Warhol would be hanging out doing cocaine right next to you, and you're like, this is weird. But like she was like the person who was in charge of being the promoter was like, we were so egotistical back then that like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards could get in, but the other Rolling Stones had to pay. Like that is the kind of, I was like, oh, that's fucking baller. Like you made the other two Rolling Stones pay because nobody knows their names.
I couldn't deal with that pretentious
I
bullshit.
hated clubs. Yeah, I just was not
Too tight to ever
Oh my
want to
gosh,
go
you
out.
guys,
Dark.
but you two would fucking love it. You guys
No,
love
you
getting
do
into
not know
Comic-Con
me
parties.
well.
No. Yeah, I always
it. I'm
hated
in.
it.
Let's go,
Now,
baby.
when it's different when I'm away from home. I feel like it's different if we are.
We're on a traveling trip.
If
That's
we're
what I'm
ju-
saying. If we went to
if-
New York for like an event and someone's like, hey, I can get you guys into Studio 54 tonight, I'd be like, we got to go see this.
It's definitely
Let's go
different,
see the
yeah.
flying horses and the fucking
When we're in LA,
giant moon and
dude.
spoon and llamas.
When we're in LA and it's like, oh, we're going over here for this E3 event or we're going over here for this E3 party or whatever, like I'm totally down and I love doing that shit. But it's way more different when I'm like here or when I lived in Austin and they'd be like, oh, let's go over here. Let's go to this.
Oh, dude.
And it's like, the driving, the parking, it's going to take forever to fucking get in.
Are you kidding me?
I just don't want
What
to
about Barbarella though?
I just want to stay home. Oh, Barbarella is just a mess. Jesus Christ.
Did you ever-
Barbarella
sweaty
is this,
body?
this fucking disgusting club in Austin
No, thanks.
that me and Eddie hung out at one time. It
Yeah,
was awesome.
I've been there several times, and it's always a nightmare. It's always hot and humid, and you're always there for some reason in the middle of summer, so it's hot anyway.
Yeah.
but it's just body
Just humid.
next to sweaty body, and
Sounds
Yeah,
it's
after
gross,
a
yeah.
certain point, I think I don't think I was ever drawn to the club life. Like I had friends that would go to like raves and shit in college. I'm like, no thanks, I'll sit in
Yeah,
the parking
same.
lot.
Raves scare me.
But oh yeah, they scare the shit out of me too. But like when the idea of going to a club like that, no, I'm good. Like remember your tweet has stuck with me, where it's like I have $1 billion idea, like a bar that plays music at half the sound of other bars. That is 100% true for me. Like I forget where we were.
it was RTX. It
in
was
New York. No, it was recently in New York. Where were
Well,
we?
that was recently in New York, but it was RTX.
Hated that.
That's where the
We went that floppy disk place.
yes,
Oh.
we went to that.
But no, it was even at E's bar where they started playing the music, and I'm like, why? Why would the bartender think it's a good idea to start playing the music right now? Like the whole point of this event is a meet and greet. And then all of a sudden, screaming music behind me, and I'm like, I can't even imagine what it's like being inside this fucking bar right now and trying to connect with someone on a vocal level. It's ridiculous. But no, that bar in Austin can suck it. That place sucked.
That
Floppy disk.
The floppy
What's
disk.
it
disk
called,
repair.
though? What are they?
Speakeasy.
Speakeasy. There you go.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
It wasn't
Couldn't
easy to
speak
speak.
easy.
No, also
No.
when I asked the guy, hey, what's your favorite drink? whatever, man. He had such a laissez-faire fucking attitude. I was like, yeah, hey, fucking drink jockey, go back there and make me a fucking cocktail.
Yeah, you sound like you'd hang out real well at Studio 54. We'd all get in and you wouldn't be, and you'd be out there fucking shadow boxing in the street.
The thing is, it's like I feel like there's a difference between a bar and a club. It's like clubs need to be loud. Clubs should have music played loud. Bars should not ever. Bars should be for people to hang out and talk. And that place didn't have a dance floor. So why is the fucking dance music playing so loud?
No idea. The floppy disk. It's a place the size of the studio.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Jesus Christ. And it was and they had a DJ. I was like, you're taking a valuable real estate with a fucking DJ booth back there.
Nobody wants.
So just play some Coldplay and let us drink these bougie ass
But
cocktails.
they had swings though.
They did have swings.
They
did have
sit
swings.
at the bar.
No,
Girls
I'm
were a
good.
big fan of those. The girls were a big fan.
To your point earlier, though, like there was a time and a place where I would just feel obligated when people would come into town and they'd hit me up to go out with them, and now I just go, no, I'm good.
No, good.
Hey man, I'm in town. You want to grab a drink? No. You busy? No.
Here's what I do for that.
I'm at home.
Here's what
I'm
I
going
do for
home.
that.
I'm tired.
Even my brother will come into town. He's like, I'm in town for 3 days. I was like, let's grab dinner one of those days. But I can't party with you for 3 days straight because I know the energy that you bring on the road. We have that same energy. We're like, when we went to New York, I was like,
Do new
went
things.
out.
Let's try stuff out.
Let's grab some cocktail. Oh, let loose a little bit. Let's get some snack, whatever. Party, whatever. But when people come into town, I'm like, no, this is my life, dude. I can't break my routine for this long to hang out with you. Like it'll fuck me up. I can't do it.
My excuse or my sort of backup plan is like, it happens all the time. People will come in here for like GDC or whatever, like, hey, let's go get drinks or whatever. And my thing is like, we can get lunch or like an early dinner. Let's do that. Let's go to Ramen Tatsuya. Let's go to Marufuku Ramen. And that's like my early dinner thing. Like we go out, we hang out for, hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's like, all right, I'm out. I'm not going to go to a bar.
How many times a week you eat at that ramen place?
Oh, no, not often.
Yeah?
No.
You love it, I know.
Maybe
this isn't a judgment call.
It may be once a month,
Okay.
if that. Like, yeah. Lately, not a whole lot.
Okay.
But it's great, though.
Yeah.
Just go. Let's go.
Okay, I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. Sounds
Let's
good.
do it. Do an early dinner. It's fine with me.
Right now?
No, we got to do the show still. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Shout out to Upstart. Applying for a loan is a lot like applying for a job that you don't get to interview for. Instead, loan companies make their decisions based off of your credit score and history without getting to know the whole you. Now, thanks to Upstart.com, it's never has to be that way again. Upstart is revolutionizing the way that you borrow money by rewarding you for your job experience and education in the form of a smarter interest rate. This is great. It could have totally helped us when we were first starting off. It's kind of funny. I know there's a lot of people out there that are starting podcast companies, starting video production stuff, starting just anything when it comes to video game journalism or whatever you want to call it. And Upstart can definitely help you there. Unlike traditional credit underwriting, which could be biased against people with short credit history, Upstart goes beyond the traditional stuff when assessing your credit worthiness. Upstart believes you're more than just your credit score. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in less than 2 minutes without affecting your credit score. And the best part is once it's all approved, it happens within a day. Within 24 hours, you can be getting the money. It's fantastic. Over 100,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards, student loans, fund their wedding, or to make large purchases. See why Upstart's ranked #1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/kindafunny to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes 2 minutes and won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/kindafunny. UPSTART.com/kindafunny. And thank you to Warby Parker. Thanks to Warby Parker for supporting the Kind of Funny podcast. Warby Parker makes high quality, stylish, and affordable glasses that start at only $95, including prescription lenses. Plus, lenses include anti-glare and anti-scratch coatings. Blue light filtering lenses are also now available. For every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need, and they make buying glasses online easy and risk-free with their home try-on program. The home try-on program allows you to order 5 pairs of glasses shipped directly to your door, where you can try them on in the comfort of your own home and get feedback from friends, family, colleagues, or all the best friends out there. Because guess what? I did exactly this. I need some glasses. I've been wearing the same glasses for way too long, over a decade at this point, and they went out of style. I mean, I don't even know if they were in style when I first got them, if I'm being completely honest with you. But they make this easy. They send you the box. You get to go online. You choose out the styles that you want, and you can put them on. Here it is. You get to ask around. see what's going on with your friends. Then, if you need help from them, you let them know. You can order them, send them back if you need, kick up your feet. They're going to come to you and you're going to be looking good and being able to see well. Which frames are my favorite? Let's see. Right now we got these 5. I need to ask you. Let's try a couple on. This is number 1. Let's put them on, see what you guys think, all right? I want to see in the comments below. Do you like these? I don't know. Option number 1. Let me know in the comments. Let's go straight to option number 3, aka the Anthony Carbonis. Putting these guys on. Ow! I pinched myself. That was my bad.
They're growing on me, Tim.
Are they? Am I cool enough to pull this off?
No, but
Only
like,
you. Only you can let me know. I don't trust Kevin. You know what I mean? And then the final pair, I'm going number 5 for these. Let me know if this is your bet. Boom. Number 5. Vote below and let me know. I'll get back to them. We'll see what's up, and I'll keep you guys updated on my journey to find my better glasses. Try Warby Parker out for yourself and see how good you look in their frames. Go to warbyparker.com/kinda to order your own free home try-on kit with free shipping all around. That's to you and back if you don't like them. That's warbyparker.com/kinda. Be sure to type lowercase KINDA. So that's warbyparker.com/KINDA. All lowercase. And if you have an iPhone 10 like I do, be sure to download the Warby Parker app and try their new virtual try-on, allowing you to try on eyeglasses, seeing the realistic color, texture, and size of each style just using your phone. That's awesome. I cannot wait to do that when I get home. But yeah, check it out. These are all the ones I'm looking at. Let me know which ones you think I should stick with, or go to warbyparker.com and tweet at me at Tim Gettys. Let me know which ones you think that I should try on in the next round that I do. All right. Love you.
Tim,
Yes.
what are your end game predictions?
I don't know.
Spoilers, full spoilers.
I don't know, because that's the thing is we're going full spoilers here, I guess, for a movie that we haven't seen yet.
Go peek.
But it's
Well, for MCU in general.
yes, this is interesting. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because the way we record the show, this is going to go live for everybody on the Friday, so it'll be the last fully public thing before the show comes out.
Yeah.
Before the movie comes out, and so if we did next week, it'd be a weird thing. So we're pretty early out there, right? I don't know. I think people are going to die, but I feel like this is an easy prediction. You look back at MCU, even back to the Civil War days, I feel like every single person on the goddamn planet thought someone was going to die.
Yeah.
Like Cap's going to die or Tony's going to die. And neither died. Like really nobody died in Civil War. If I remember correctly, yeah, nobody died.
Are you fucking kidding me? Black Panther wouldn't be King of Wakanda if his dad didn't croak.
His dad died. His dad did
Fucking
die.
moron.
Fucking got you.
But going into this, I feel like it's such an easy prediction that like, oh, people are going to die, probably multiple people, but maybe not, right? I mean,
What do you do? We got to
get.
get rid of the old guard at some point, right? You got to
Yeah.
get rid of Cap. You got to get rid of Iron Man.
Yeah, but how do you kill him out when you literally have how do you kill him off when you literally have a device, the whole MacGuffin of the
This
fucking
is
movie
one
is that
time.
you bring him back?
It's a one-time thing. Once we do this, we can never do it again. That's how you do it. We're gonna go back in time or whatever they're doing, jumping through reality, doing all these different things. But it's a one-way trip. Once we do this, whatever happens, happens. That's how they
I've
set
been
it up.
flip-flopping, man, because I'm like, on one hand, I think that we're going to get a significant amount of deaths of the originals. Like a while back, I think it was like a month ago, I was like, I think 4 are going to die. And I think it's going to be, the only remainers are going to be Thor and Hulk.
What about Black Widow? She's got her own movie.
Don't matter. Where does that movie take place? We don't know.
The 90s.
Yeah, maybe.
She's
But-
15.
But that's the thing is like, I actually
school.
think there's a higher chance of Black Widow being a prequel than a sequel. Like where we're at with Marvel lore, it's like, I don't see anything interesting coming from her in a future storyline. Not saying I
Her
want
and
it.
Hulk, man.
I mean, real talk, like, they could kill her off. They could kill Hawkeye off. I wouldn't care. Like, I don't really, like, Wanda, Vision, that's fine. They can kill those people off.
They've got
I
a
don't
show
give
on
shit. I
Disney
don't
now,
really
too.
care. And they could go to do their own show, and that's probably fine. And I feel like that might be a good angle for it. But the bigger thing is, like, how are they going to exit Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.? Because they can't do these fucking movies forever. Those are going to be the heartbreaking ones. Robert Downey Jr. really is going to be the heartbreaking one for me. Chris Evans, I like. I don't really care about the Captain America character, but I'm sorry. I don't care about him as Captain America, but you need the Captain America character in this to some degree if it's going to balance out the Stark character. But obviously, I don't think Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's going to live, and I think they're going to keep Tom Holland there for
I
a very,
think
very
all
long
those
time.
guys are safe. Like,
They're going to bring
I-
him back. Ant-Man's going to still kick around probably.
Yeah, I doubt they'll kill Ant-Man. Like that's the thing is I don't see that any of the big 6, the original 6 are the ones that I think are most at risk of dying and meaning anything. And I feel like we see that because in Infinity War, like they weren't really the stars of that movie. It's like the other guys were that dusted, you know? So they'll all be brought back in some way. I think a bigger question is, does Loki and Gamora? I don't think Loki does. I think he's dead.
But that's the thing. I don't think too many people care about that, but I also don't think you have to kill characters off to end their run. Right? I don't think Robert Downey Jr. has to die to not be Stark anymore. I think he could go away and they could explain that of like he's retired with Pepper and they're there. And then occasionally, if you want and you want to keep that in your back pocket, you bring Tony Stark back as a cameo in Avengers 19 or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
When he's like 60 years old or 7 years old.
I just feel like if you keep them around, you're always going to have that hanging question of why don't call them in. Now, granted, I know you can explain that and do whatever in lines of dialogue, but I still think that it's similar to how people argued with Captain Marvel, right? Once they figured out that, Fury paged her, like, well, why wasn't this a big enough deal? Why wasn't that a big enough deal? And granted, the Russo brothers have been like, who's to say it wasn't? Maybe he did ping him and nothing happened, or they canceled the page or whatever.
I mean, even in the new trailer they put out, like, it's a line of dialogue that writes off. She's like, so I think it was Rhodey's like, why didn't you help out? Like, why haven't you been here? It's like, hey, Earth had Avengers. All the other planets don't. And it's like, oh, cool. That's all we need. And it's like, that's written off.
But I feel like if it's a giant thing happening and Tony Stark still has a million robots or whatever, you know what I mean? He's not somehow involved. That's weird.
Yeah. But I feel like they're smarter than us.
Of course, 100%. I'm not. Yeah, no, totally.
But I also don't think you need to necessarily have these characters be the main characters, right? You could still have them be involved, but the action doesn't revolve around their specific storylines. You could bring in someone else to take up the Iron Man mantle very easily.
I mean,
with
my
Tony
hope
Stark
still
being a mentor, but like similar to Homecoming, where he's not in it that much, really, and it's not that big of a commitment for Robert Downey Jr. But you can just have him be in it occasionally here and there.
But then it's a price tag, right? I mean, how much is he going to cost?
But it's a cost benefit analysis. If we find out that Tony Stark's in every fucking Spider-Man movie, I'll be like, that's worth the extra money.
I would love it if it was that if Tony Stark dies or whatever, they go similar to like Ironheart comics, right? Where then he's the AI inside the suit or whatever. So we have, just Robert Downey Jr. doing VO.
No matter what, Tony Stark will exist as a AI, no matter what, however this goes. Like, so that's the way that they keep him, is whether he dies or lives at some point in the MCU.
Yeah.
Tony Stark will be an AI.
I think you're right, though. I don't see Thor dying because I feel like that does. I mean, I think Thor and Hulk are like strong enough characters, and I don't think Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth need to necessarily vacate those roles at this point.
I honestly don't think that any of them are over it. I don't think that any of I
think Chris Evans doesn't want to do it anymore, right?
But I mean, no. Like, that's the thing is, like, there's been a ton of interviews that say this or that, like, both ways for it, where it's like at this point I think a lot of it's just marketing. It's like it's not any real type of thing. But I do think that Captain America's story arc is done.
Yeah.
They can always start another one, but I feel like for him, I feel like he is the most likely to die out of the 6.
There's too many things that the Game of Thrones and Avengers and is like it's all here and it's all happening at the same time, and it's too much for my brain to comprehend right now. Like,
yeah, I know. We literally got the episode 9 trailer last week, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Yeah, dude.
Like, there's just too much good stuff right now. And then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I'm ready for it.
Like, there's a lot of things at stake right now.
There's a lot of things at stake.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things at stake, and everything's ending this year, which is crazy.
That's insane.
So we got 9 Star Wars movies ending
3
this
of the
year.
biggest pop culture franchises of all time, all ending in
2019, baby. 2020 is going to suck.
Ghostbusters 3 or whatever you want to call it. Come on, guys, get on board.
What?
A mom and her son.
Ghostbusters 2020. Single mother. Ghostbusters. Let's go.
They could do a lot with that story.
They could.
But
So shove it.
I'm not shoving it.
Shove it
You
right
shove
now.
It. You shove it right back.
You shove
Neck.
it. No, you shove it up.
You look like you stepped right out of 1987.
You got off the ski
love it.
slopes.
Yeah, that's great. You got a Teddy Ruxpin in there somewhere.
Yeah. I can't believe it's like here already. It's mind blowing to me.
I like that it's so close and I'm not like fixated on it. I can't wait, but I didn't watch the latest trailer. Like when they popped the new trailer, I was like, I'm good. Got tickets reserved. Don't need to worry about this.
Yeah, I'm just fucking obsessed. I can't stop.
I love watching the trailers on Twitter because they are in 21:9 ratio. Watching them in the ultra wides.
Yeah, they're on YouTube like that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you want to come by my ultra wide monitor and check it out later,
maybe
it's
I
pretty
will.
hot. Pretty damn hot.
Yeah, it's cool that they're doing that, and it's I just love with Game of Thrones we were talking about as we walked out. I was like, it feels right. It feels like it's a good. Like I'm glad it's happening, and I'm looking forward to it ending. And I kind of feel that way with Endgame as well, because it's kind of the end of that first era. right?
Well, that's
the end
what's
of
so
the saga.
exciting about it, right? Is like they've talked about it, right? They won't talk about the next wave of Marvel films till after Spider-Man, wasn't that the thing? And so that's what's super exciting about it is, to see the end of this saga, not know what it's going to look like. I mean, right now we're predicting, right? But we don't have any great predictions so far because it's just so nebulous of like, it can do anything they want. And I am super stoked to not know any of that, have it end, and then see, all right, cool, here's what the next wave of Marvel films are. And everything's
Well, I
phased.
mean, that's the weirdest thing is like we know the next, in quotes, the next phase of movies, but that's just from leaked shit. But it's like in the same way that we knew all the Disney Plus things, and that turned out to be right.
So what?
It's like we got Shang-Chi, we got Eternals, we got Black Panther 2.
Are they doing anything with
Widow.
that their group of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Stallone's.
It's the Stallone and Michelle Yeoh's group.
No,
they're not doing anything.
Oh, we
with that,
got
right?
Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Imagine they're in Guardians
Moved.
3.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But they're not gonna get their own series, right? As like a side off prequel Guardians. That'd be cool. But
Yeah, so it's like we know the next phase. It's just what the
Who are the
we know
Eternals?
Spider-Man. Eternals are the new. They're going to introduce us to them, but the rumors are we got Angelina Jolie and Kev. Help me out here.
Nick Nolte.
No,
No.
not Johnny.
that'd be fucking amazing if they got Nick Nolte. They dug Nick Nolte out of the fucking crew.
Kumail's in it?
I mean, it's not official, but probably.
Wow.
What
that's cool.
are they
Crushing
going to get
life.
Inhuman though?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah, like that.
because Inhumans is going to be a movie at one point, and it was like, the coworker that I worked with at the time is like a giant Marvel fan who reads every fucking comic, and he was like, "There's no way that's going to be a movie." And I was like, "Yeah, it's leaked. Like, yeah, it's all the information." They just
It wasn't leaked, that was
Kevin
official.
Feige showed it on stage and all that shit, and then like it became a TV show that.
Well, that was
ran
because
for-
the Marvel Studios versus Perlmutter, who was the director guy that was overseeing the showrunner for all of the Marvel shows. They did not get along, and so there was like a big shift after around Iron Man 3, where Iron Man 3, if I remember this correctly, was the last Paramount Pictures MCU movie when Disney bought Marvel, and that changed a lot. Then they did all the Netflix deals, but then that all fucked up. That changed a lot. Now they have Fox, so it's like it's an ever evolving who's in control. But once Kevin Feige was fully in control, that's when Inhumans changed.
Wasn't that
to
one
a
of the first things he did where he's like, we're going to let this guy go?
Yeah, and then everything went to hell on the TV side of things. But yeah.
What are the odds any of this Endgame stuff touches on or sets up, like in the Easter egg or after credits or whatever for Fantastic Four or for X-Men or any of that?
I think it's slim, but there is a chance. I don't think it'll be like the next movie's X-Men. Like I think we are very far from all that stuff.
I don't
but
think we'll see anything. I
there's
have a prediction there won't be. It's already noted that there will be
no.
post. Okay. I have a prediction that like there won't be anything that it's just like boom, movie's done. This is our
Yep, there's
end of the chapter.
definitely a chance they'll do that. I think that there's an equal chance about 4 ways of what the post credits could look like. I
Real
think
quick, I'm sorry too. I was trying to think of this morning. For Infinity War, was there a post-credit scene? Mm-hmm. What was it?
Nick Fury getting
The beeper.
Right. Thank
and
you
the
very
Captain
much.
Marvel
Yeah,
thing. But I think it's like equally split, 25% chance 4 ways, where one of them is they'll just be a post-credit scene like we're normally used to, where it sets up something, and probably like a shawarma-esque comedy scene as well. So 2 of them. One would be we actually get a big reveal of Osborn, like an Osborn building, or some type of like hint of mutants or hint of Fantastic Four, like something that's Fox related, but that's very like distant in the future building. Another possibility is just there's nothing. And the last one is they just do something similar to Iron Man 3 that's kind of like a fun retrospective look back on the whole franchise up to then, where it's not actually teasing anything new, but it's just like
What was the Iron Man
like
3?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Iron Man 3 ended with like essentially a music video that just had clips from Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. And it was just like a fun, like, look at all the things the character's done. Like I can see them doing like
That's dumb. Don't do that.
like a Stan Lee-esque.
Do you think there's any chance
thing.
that the final one will be just a goodbye of like everyone standing there, like the Marvel 10-year anniversary photo of them just being like thanks?
I don't think so.
I think we
That
might.
could be
I
like a
think it'll just
Stan
be
Lee
like text or something. I do like that idea, Kev, but I don't know if it'll be an image.
Yeah.
I see just doing like a thank you for whatever.
Yeah.
If Captain America's the only one who dies, it'll end with him walking in to dance with Peggy.
See, the thing with the Peggy stuff is that's where it's like, we know there's time travel in this movie, and it's like, are they just going to leave Cap back in the past? That kind of undoes a lot of his storyline, and like the whole arc. But they could definitely
Or
do
makes
that.
2 caps.
And that's the thing is like there might just be
many
different
caps.
universes, too many caps. But that's the thing is like
Too
they don't need
many
to die.
caps.
Just leave him in a different
Sure.
place. But it's kind of lame.
Slowly though.
Yeah, he was
So-
still. You know.
I don't know. For some reason, I just personally want to see it end, just to like give us a chance to breathe. You know, like we've been so on edge for a long time with this.
But there's
whole
enough ways
saga.
to. I think the final scene and then boom, directed by the Russo brothers, right? I think that'll be the ending of the Infinity. The what do they call it? The Infinity Saga. Right? That'll be the end of that, and then it will be like you can leave it open to have at the end like a cool thing. Where I still think the joke obviously that still could happen now that everything's happened would be just like. Man, I can't believe somebody finally bought the Stark Tower or the old Avengers Tower, right? And it is, and I'm just hoisting the 4 into frame or whatever. Like, I mean, they're smarter than me, but you know what I mean? Where it's just, even just the tip of the 4 comes into it, right? As they're hoisting it up to put it on the thing.
I think that's more of a Far From Home type tease,
Sure.
right?
That is so good.
But yeah, it's cool. we really don't know because it's like this is the first time we've seen the end of something in the MCU. Like it's always been like we know.
Next
there's
question I
more
have for
coming.
you, Tim, as the prognosticator here. Do you think this is going to get super spoiled by the time we get there?
I'm so worried.
By the time
Like-
we watch it,
Yeah, because like last
In a
time
week.
it was, Thanos demands your silence and everybody was real respectful of it and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I think that even more. I think that everyone's gotten only better at spoiler culture and better about not doing things and like the whole Thanos demands your silence meaning something. If you're trying to look for spoilers, you're gonna find them.
Sure.
If you're trying to avoid them, you can avoid them. I really think that's going to be the case. The premiere is the 24th, I think.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
it's
a day ahead.
or maybe 23rd.
Okay,
So there's not that much going into it right now. The only things people have seen, there's been 20 minutes of the movie. The first 20 minutes have been screened in like 3 different places.
Okay.
And it's pretty much just
like-
shit we've seen in trailers.
So we're like 10 days away at this point. Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Did you see that promo? I've seen so many stupid little promo things go on Twitter, and this might be old, but they were all at something, and it was just Chris Hemsworth going and like, drawing on all their posters, like drawing like little shit on it and say like Thor rocks.
Yeah.
It's like what a fucking blast.
I love it.
They're having
There
so
was
much
another
fun.
it was the Avengers press conference. I forget which one was talking. I think it might have been Jeremy Renner or something. But he was like, "Yeah, I don't know why everybody's talking though. Like, we're all dead, or like we're all dead." And you see one of the Russo brothers' hand reach in to grab his microphone, and then he changes conversation and it moves back. Like he's so ready to be like, "Shut up, stop talking. You're getting too close to things."
My
gotta be
favorite thing
hard.
is the Black Panther thing now. Do you see this?
Oh,
Like he
I'm
was
dead.
interviewed and he's just like, hey, so like what about Black Panther 2, whatever? He just goes, I'm dead.
He's like, nah, I'm dead. He's like, no, but we don't want you dead. Nah, I am though. I am dead.
Good for him. He's like, listen, man, I'm not gonna be the one that fucks this up for everyone.
They're all having so much fun with it, which is the best part. And I didn't put it together,
What a
and maybe it
blast.
was something that was spoken, but I had seen the photos of the Avengers press conference where they were all on stage together coming out, and then somebody finally put up the side by side of what it was like for Infinity War and what it was like for this one, where there was like
They
all
left
these empty seats.
for the dusted people.
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Great.
super smart.
That's
super
great.
really smart. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine how much fun this cast has had over the years and has had on this final like project. Like the 4 of us have a blast just hanging out in the back of a fucking convention hall stealing pizza sauce. These guys are doing that on a mega fucking level,
Yeah.
getting paid, son.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing to realize is this movie has been shot for years now.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's like they're doing the press tour, but it's like they shot all this stuff. Like Brie Larson shot the Endgame stuff before she did Captain Marvel. Like that's crazy. Like she shot the movies out of order.
Wow, that'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
It really will be interesting to see how the Brie Larson character fits in with everyone and if it works. Because the trailers look good.
They look real good.
But I don't know. I still have a little bit of fear of like, is she going to be the one oddball that kind of doesn't make the scenes work very well?
I don't think so. I think they got it. I think she needs them to make her,
Get over.
just like Captain America. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he sucked because you're just lame, such a straight guy. But you need the straight guy when you have a room with Tony Stark and modern Thor. And all that
Modern
shit.
Thor.
You know what I mean?
Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok. Yeah,
Thor
yeah.
Ragnarok,
Similar to Tim Ragnarok.
You gotta fucking love
Let's
it.
get another fucking Hulk and Thor movie, man. That's all I want,
Let's
dude.
go, man. Let's go, baby.
I don't know what they would call it, but
That's the interesting thing is like we're not going to get another Hulk movie ever because of Universal
Licenses, right?
Yeah.
owns the rights to the films, and I also don't think they necessarily would want to.
That's the thing, and that's why, like, honestly, I could see him dying. Like, everybody loves Hulk or whatever, but it's like, how much more can you do with that character? And you could burn it here and be done with it to a degree,
Bring
right?
back She-Hulk.
I mean, yeah.
Well, they also don't own She-Hulk.
Good point.
That's like one of the few things MCU doesn't own.
They'll get it.
But I feel like you
They'll
could
get
get rid of a bunch of people like that. Like, I just don't see there, I could be wrong, obviously, but I don't see there being another Thor movie. And then what do you do with Hulk and all this stuff?
I imagine, yeah.
I think there would be another. I think there's going to be another Thor movie just based off of the power duo that's Taika Waititi and Chris Hemsworth. I feel like they could easily make another fun.
They know that
storyline
they
there.
struck absolute gold. with
Fucking
that.
gold,
Yeah.
and like bring that team back. Let's go. You know,
Yeah.
put
I'd
another
love to see it.
character
Yeah,
with
sure.
them and like let's have fun. It's
Valkyrie.
a buddy cop thing.
But it's interesting, like with
Wasn't-
Guardians, though.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna
what
say
are-
Valkyrie. The rumor is Guardians, right?
Yeah, it's like, what do they do there? Like, did you just put Thor with the Guardians and call it a day? Because that sounds awesome, too.
That sounds fucking.
That sounds
great.
fucking great.
He's too powerful to be with him though. That's the problem is when you have him in the mix, you're like Thor, just go take care of this.
Wait, what's the rumor about Valkyrie?
That, I mean, well, she could end up with Guardians. I mean,
Because
she's in
Gamora's
Endgame,
gone.
we know that.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah. I just, again, I love that we have no concrete evidence of what's going to happen with this movie. Like, we know what comes forward, but all the movies that I just talked about in the next phase don't really affect any of these characters, with the exception of Black Widow. But that totally could be a prequel, and
Black Panther. as
none of
well.
this shit matters. And then, yeah, Black Panther. But
I love living in a world knowing that there will be a third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Like
With
it's
James Gunn.
Yeah, with James. Like I'm just excited for that. It's gonna be years, probably 3 years away.
I'll say, man,
I'm still so
yeah,
excited.
that's good. I'm glad about that. I'm glad. I'm also like shout out to Batista, man. God bless him. Standing his fucking ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good. Everyone else is like, oh, we hope it resolves. Batista's like, fuck this, fuck you, fuck everyone. This is bullshit. I get a lot of respect for that motherfucker.
yeah, I wonder how that's all going to change the plans, though. Because, you know, Guardians 3 had a date, if I remember correctly.
Did it?
Yeah. And it was like
I don't know.
early.
I mean, he had written a script already for it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you figure like, hey, we'll rush production a little bit, but let's just get him on and get him back in the. This
Yeah,
can't,
but I'm
this
sure
can't
they,
be the first
they
time.
juggled things, right? So they had to juggle the
Yeah,
timeline.
like if I remember correctly, and someone in the comments let me know if I'm wrong about this, but I think that after Far From Home, the next slated Marvel movie was going to be Guardians 3.
Interesting.
So I don't know what the next one would be. I think that we're actually going to get a pretty big gap now after Spider-Man,
Yeah.
because I don't know what the fuck else would be happening that soon. Because Spider-Man's July.
Do you just
Black
want?
Widow?
Should we just make one?
I feel like that's the next.
Yeah,
they've
it's
been like
we
leaking
should.
people who are in it, right?
But I mean, like going by the typical Marvel
Cadence.
things, it's been like we get a March movie, we get a another one around. Oh no, we get it early in the year, then we get like the around now, and then we get a November. So I don't think we're gonna get a November this year.
Sure.
But this year we also got Captain Marvel. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird
I
because the
would-
Spider-Man are on their own tracks.
Honestly, I
It's
don't
Sony.
mind if they need to take a little time to re-spool and revamp whatever they're going to do next. I think
like
I
Star
mean,
Wars is doing.
Yeah, like I saw that article with Star Wars. It's like we're gonna take a little time off and figure this out after episode 9. I'm like, I think that's the right thing to do. With Star Wars specifically, like I think that's a great idea.
you
Just
love
because,
Solo.
I just feel like Star Wars, they need to make that special. It's special, and I think they're realizing that the more they put out there, like, and they need to really put out good quality stuff with that. So I think that's smart. But I think Marvel's smart enough to realize like we got our shit on lock. Like we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's gonna go. What's the next 5 years gonna be? What's the big thing?
Mandalorian.
Who's the big bad guy?
The Mandalorian didn't show.
In the MCU, whoa.
Mandalorian did not show to the public, right? That was only a closed doors event.
It
or
leaked on
whatever?
Twitter though.
Oh, really? Okay,
It
got
looked
it.
fucking dope.
Yeah,
man.
I heard. I
This
saw-
Disney service sounds pretty cool.
Sounds amazing.
That what if thing that we pitched forever ago on the Game Over
It's
Greggy show
happening,
with
man.
like people voicing it. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Dude,
Totally- I'm
Disney
fucking-
Plus just knocking it out of the park. We talked a lot on Screencast about it if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts. But yeah, the more I see, the more I'm just like, they fucking nailed it. They got my money now.
And at the price, yeah,
Yeah.
$6.
$70 for a whole year. Let's do it, dude. Mandalorian looks fucking awesome. That's day one.
Oh yeah, it is premiering with that. That's right.
Yeah.
When is it to premiere?
November 12th.
Okay, that's fine. It's this year, November.
think it was,
Got it.
yeah.
All right, cool.
So that's cool. But at Star Wars Celebration, they showed
And 4K.
4K UHD.
HDR, yeah.
Yeah. So dope. Love that shit. Yeah. It's been a cool time.
That was a obscenely large
A
gesture
victorious-
for that tiny little bit of water. You know what I
it. I
mean?
needed that little water.
Okay,
Little
so you
Wawa.
get whatever you want. Yeah.
Wawa from
The
the
Wawa?
Wawa.
A Wawa for the Tum Tum. Okay.
Indeed.
All right.
Indeed.
I wish it was now. Now that we talked so much about Avengers, I wish it was now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to watch it.
Do you
now.
guys have any thoughts at all?
I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it for so long that now they're on the precipice of it. I don't know. I still never, I think they go back in time. Like, I think that's what those spacesuits are for. I want to buy, I keep seeing on the Instagram feed, they keep trying to get me to buy the sweatshirt and I keep getting closer and closer. 'Cause it looks cool.
Oh, the white one? Yeah, the
Yeah,
white. The red.
yeah, yeah.
I have a prediction. I'm going to try my hardest not to buy a cherry Coke with popcorn.
You and I are
And I'm not
fucked.
going to be able to. We're fucked, dude.
I was telling Kevin the other day, you got to catheterize me. You're gonna have to put
Yeah.
a thing in my pee-pee.
Or just give me a little
Because-
bottle.
Who are you gonna have do it?
I'm gonna have Kevin do it.
Yeah.
I feel
The
like
only
he's
one
got
you can
the
trust.
sturdiest
The only
hands,
one you can trust.
and just looking down at him as he
Sturdiest
does it,
hands.
I'm like, this is a new era of our friendship.
Or you know
That
what?
you're doing
Wait,
this
hold
to
on.
me.
No, we may not be fucked because we're in an AMC and they have those shitty fucking drink mix soda vend.
Food's
vending
terrible
machine.
there. So you're not going to want to drink or eat
But I just love
anything.
popcorn.
machine.
Like I'll just take a
Popcorn
popcorn.
there's awful.
I'm gonna
I like
dehydrate
popcorn. I
myself
don't
for
know.
3 days leading up to that, so I don't have to pee for another 4 days.
With the worst headache ever. Like,
I just keep passing out. Like, wake Nick up, wake him up. What's he doing?
Yeah, I ain't drinking. I already told you this plan on Screencast, but for me, I'm seeing the movie twice. Seeing it the first night, not going to drink for hours before. Got to be totally prepared for that. But then the next time I'm seeing it is in IMAX, and we got one of the side seats.
Smart.
Because I'm just like, man, they'll be able to go to the bathroom.
Did
I'll
you
know
get
when
seen-
to
I
Did
know
you get the
what
right
this
side?
is.
Did you get the side seat on the? As you're looking at the screen,
course.
stage left.
I got.
Because if you get right, you fucked yourself. You got to go all the way around.
No, I'm right next
Stupid.
to that exit.
No, I mean, I don't have any real predictions or expectations. Like, I'm going in, like I always do. Like, I don't research this stuff, and I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about what could happen because honestly, I've never been disappointed by these guys. Never been put down. So I'm going in just kind of like blinders on. Give me what you're going to give me, Kevin Feige and the team, and let's fucking rock this shit. And I'm sure it's going to be great.
That is the most fair prediction. Is that this is going to be fucking
It's
awesome?
going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that I can think that they would do that would be disappointing. It's similar to Game of Thrones, where I'm like, honestly, if they were to kill 90 or 95% of the characters off, like that's an expectation that's reasonable for me. Like, okay, that might happen. Like if they end up on the fucking islands and everyone's screwed and they've lost, I'm like, that's a great ending for Game of Thrones. Like that makes sense.
I feel like I could be disappointed by Game of Thrones. I feel like Game of
too.
Thrones, I expect them to wow me, and I just think that we are just at a point that I'd be very surprised if they surprise me. Whereas with Endgame, they've proven to me that they can surprise me and do surprise me constantly, and I think that
I think we're going to get a lot bigger surprises in Game of Thrones than Endgame. I think Endgame's pretty much like, let's put like 70% of me thinks it's going to snap. We're going to put everything back to the way it was before Thanos is gone, and that's how this thing ends. And like that kind of makes sense for this. Whereas with Game of Thrones, I'm like, Jon Snow might die, Daenerys might die, they might die together. Cersei might win. That might be a thing that happens. Or the fucking Walking Dead, the White Walkers might just come and decimate everyone, and that's the ending of it. And the whole cycle starts over again.
or everybody dies.
Everyone fucking dies, and that's, to me, I'm like, cool, fitting end. That works.
I went into Infinity War feeling like there was a good chance it wouldn't work. There's so many moving parts. And there's a chance that this movie will fall below expectations, but it's just far and away blew out every expectation I
so
ever
fun.
had. So it's hard to go into Endgame not feeling like this is going to be like one of the best movies I've seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really difficult because I want to sort of temper those expectations and have them a little bit lower in hopes that I'm kind of like, that was fucking great. But it's just so hard now because they just show you that
I
they're
feel like
good.
we know the pieces of what Endgame's going to be. Like, we're going to get the original Avengers reunited, right? And the spin around, and it's going to be fucking dope. And how that happens, who knows? They're going to beat Thanos. They're going to rewind time, reset time. I don't think it'll be a snap again. I think they have to go back and stop the snap from happening and somehow. And I think it'll cost
you
them.
went for the head with the axe, like
what did it cost you?
went
Right?
for the chest.
It cost everything, right? Like, I think that'll be a line probably echoed back from the good guy side. What did it cost? It cost everything.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'll be it, and that's how you kill Cap, or you kill Iron Man, or you kill them both, or whatever, to get through and make it happen. But again, even knowing all that on paper, I'm still like, I can't wait for those moments.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna make me cry. Still, they're gonna make me go crazy.
I mean, I think the surprise there is that we haven't seen anything from the third act. It feels like in the trailers or anything, and it's like, what's it going to look like?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you say we
But
see.
you didn't see
the
that
circle
part of that
shot.
one trailer where Thor's just wearing the gauntlet and he's like, I got it, guys.
Got
I
it.
got
We're good. We're good.
It's not-
Everyone's saved.
it's
Yeah,
not
I
working.
missed that bit.
Oh, okay.
But I think that going in, I can't imagine this movie being better than Infinity War, because Infinity War is the Empire. They lose.
Yeah, I don't think it's
know?
going to be as. I don't think it's going to be as poignant. I think it's going to be more. I think it'll be a lot more fun because they're putting the band back together for one more heist. Because this is going to be a heist film. They're going to have to figure out like how to outsmart the bad guy, and that's always super fun. It's Ocean's fucking 11. Like, it's going to be great. And how they do that is going to be where all the fun
That's
is.
the
What
cool-
are
I
the
mean,
suits?
you're
How
nailing
do
it.
they get to the quantum like realm? Is that going to be a thing? Like, what do they have
where
to do
does
with
Ant-Man pop out?
Where does
Like,
Ant-Man
That's the
come
coolest
up?
thing is it is a heist movie, and now they have the heist guy with
And
Ant-Man.
they got the
that's
guy, and
fucking
so
cool.
yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be really, really fun. As to whether or not I don't think it's gonna be as gut wrenchingly. Like, they're not gonna have a scene. I don't think it's gonna rival when he's holding fucking Spider-Man and he's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel good. It's like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, take the knife out of my heart, for Christ's sake. But I think it's gonna be a fucking blast.
I can't wait.
3.5 hours of just sheer fun.
Can't wait.
I'll be milking a water bottle the whole time. That's
Will
my
you?
plan. Yeah.
I'm not taking
Little
any
sips.
liquid in at all. If you guys see me buy a Coke, slap it out of my hand. Be like, don't. Because I don't want to. I'd have to pee 3 times
You
during
say
this
that
time.
now, but you don't mean it at all.
So bad. I want a giant Diet Coke so bad.
Man, I
A
want
big
to.
bottle
Yeah,
of
me
it.
too, dude.
I need that.
Ladies and gentlemen, how do you think it's going to shake out for the Avengers and that their Endgame? Let us know in the comments below. Also, tweet all your theories to Kevin. And then, of course, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week. 4 best friends gather on this table, each bringing their topics from their lives to talk to you about them. If you like that, head to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where a couple of bucks get you each and every episode early. If you have no bucks to toss our way, no big deal. Wait till Friday. We put it up with ads as an MP3 on podcast services around the globe and youtube.com/kindoffunny. However, if you're a Patreon person, we're about to roll into that post show. Wow. If you don't roll with us, until next time, no. It's been our pleasure to serve you.
And subscribe.